Today's episode of Literally is sponsored by Lowe's. Now, I like you with your glasses on like that because, then you get to do glasses acting. How's your glasses acting?
I love a good prop. Glasses give you this option. I'm telling you now, if you don't listen to me, the bomb is going to go off.
You never see people do those? Put them on. It's hard to look cool putting them on.
Yeah, especially because this happens a lot to me where it kind of catches here, where it's like, I don't care what you say. I'm the expert. You know what I mean? It's like, it gives you like the jab and it takes away any power you have.
How's your, here's the thing that fucked me big time about the digital age. A lot of people complain and there's a lot of reasons to complain about it. But remember when, like if you had an office and you'd go back in, they would hand you those little pink things with messages.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And like that was my whole performance in the West Wing was based on that. That's all I ever did was like I'd walk in and they'd go, and then I'd be like shuffling very importantly a bunch of things, and like now you don't do that. So like my paperwork acting really suffered.
In a paperless world, actors really, what you have to do is you have to do what like Brando did on The Godfather, which is like write down dialogue and like tape it to Robert Duvall's forehead. And he would like on his coverage, that's how he remembered his lines, by having like little pieces of tape all over his acting partner.
I love watching Apocalypse Now when Brando is literally going, and I remember I wept like some, and it's like he just like blatantly.
It broke my heart a little bit when I found out that he in the arguably one of his greatest scenes in oh my God, I'm
Waterfront.
On the waterfront, he didn't stick around for the coverage. He shot his side of it and left.
Yeah, Carl Malden, I think Rod Steiger.
Rod Steiger, yeah. That's tough because like you get like if you're Rod Steiger, you're opposite Brando. He's like the guy. He's giving you this insane monologue. It's so from the heart, and it's like, okay, Charlie, my second team, he's gonna do this. I gotta go.
Not even second team. It's script supervisor. So he gets. I could have been somebody. I could have been a contender, but it was you, Charlie. It was you the whole time. You're the
like a bum, which is what I am now. A bum. That's tough. That's a tough one.
Have you ever worked with anybody who's getting their dialogue fed to them from an earwig?
Yeah.
You have? No way.
Yeah. I can't say who because I don't know if it's public, but he's a famous actor, and he's a great actor. He's one of the best actors, but it was like I think he was focusing on accent, and it was a lot of.
Okay, that's fair.
That's totally fair.
That's totally fair.
Yes, and insanely long monologues, a lot of which are procedural, kind of. Maybe if you were dealing with the FBI or the CIA, just giving more hints out there. Real literally heads can read between the lines and decode who it is, and look on my Wikipedia. Yes. But it was crazy, and a friend of mine told me, he's like, "Hey, you're working with so and so." He goes, I would mess with him because when you have the earwig in, you have to say whatever, what's in the script because that's what they're feeding to you.
That's right.
And so if one of his lines, my friend decided to mess with him, and if one of his lines were like, we got to leave right now, my friend was supposed to say in the script, yeah, let me grab my gun. And he would go, we need to leave right now. My friend would be like, no, I'm not leaving. And he would just freeze and stare at him and go, we need to leave right now. Like he just like...
When I worked with an actor who was getting his lines fed from an earwig, off camera it'd be very disconcerting because you'd be having a conversation, and then like we are right now, if all of a sudden I went, no, the IV needs to be moved to 3:00 because you realize they're just talking to their
assistants. Yeah, and also you could say Amy Poehler. You don't have to like hide her name. We know it's her.
It was Amy. It was Amy is the king of the earwigs. It's something she picked up from Tina.
She picked it up from Tina, and then Amy passed it along to Johnny Depp. Right. Because most people know this. Amy, Tina, and Johnny Depp are like famously three best friends.
Apparently Depp uses the earwig. Get this. Depp apparently uses the earwig not for his dialogue. He's listening to music while he's acting.
Ooh.
Yes.
That's okay. I mean, again, like, if it works, sure. I just, as you said that, I just realized I need to use an earwig just for like going to a party. You know what I mean? If there was someone, you go to like a big party and people come up to you sometimes, and
that's Ted Sarandos. That's Ted Sarandos.
Exactly.
Ted Sarandos is right in front of you.
Just for the record, I'm saying this directly to the camera. Ted, I would know who you are, Ted.
Yes.
You're my guy. Ted's my
he's
guy.
Our guy.
But like, if you just have an assistant or a spouse, perhaps, just kind of posted up in the corner watching, and they just come by and like, this is Shawn Michelson. He's VP production of. That would just be amazing.
It really is I think it's also the reason for the younger wife. I see a lot of old dudes. They don't want to have an earwig, so they just get a younger wife, and the younger wife literally will go like. There are a couple guys like world famous. One's a mogul. Yeah. World famous mogul, and the other is world famous performer, singer, songwriter.
Wow.
And the young wife will be like, "Oh, Rob Lowe?
Yes,
he's the one." It just completely props them up.
Yeah, see, I don't even need that. That's why I married a woman 46 years older than me. I a lot of people gave me grief for it and said, "You're going to wish someone was a little younger." But I
you went the other way.
I went the other way, and a lot of times I have to explain who people are, or where we are, even. Mm-hmm. But I don't regret it. I don't regret it at all. Hey, I gotta tell you, I gotta tell you, my daughters and I just we're in like a little bit of a low essence for them, because I showed them Tommy Boy not too long ago, which they loved. They loved it. They loved it. When you start kissing Bo Derek, they went, "Oh!" But now we're also getting into Parks and Rec, and so they're very, very excited. They would not treat you like a TMZ truck.
They would not say, "Oh, that's no." They would be like, "That is Rob Lowe." They would not have said, "Is that John's?" Do you ever get? There must be somebody that people think you are that you're not.
Yeah. Do you remember Buddy Ebsen? No.
Barnaby Jones.
Barnaby Jones, Jed Clampett. No.
Barnaby Jones, by the way, not only used to have the greatest intro. Remember intros in TV shows where it used to have like a moment? Yeah. It's just him swiveling in the chair.
Yeah. Barnaby Jones was badass, dude. He was a badass. That wasn't at the same time as Streets of San Francisco.
And
that's wild. I get often not mistaken for, but people will tell me, "You look like Mark Wahlberg," or "You look like Donnie Wahlberg." That's been kind of a recurring thing.
You're Wahlberg adjacent. I can see that.
I could easily be the fourth brother that they never talk about. There's a movie called Rat Race.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
I remember that movie.
It came out like in the mid-90s. It was almost like an updated version of It's a Mad World type of situation.
Exactly. Yep.
And there's a guy in it, and I'm kind of blanking on his name right now, but he's in it, and there's a bit in it where he like pierces his tongue and he kind of talks because his tongue was pierced. And we look a little bit alike, but I've had over the years, Rob, honestly, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people come up to me like, "Rat Race." And
I didn't know hundreds and hundreds of people saw that movie.
Zing. I for years I was like, no, that's not me. And now they still say it, and I go, "Thank you." Yeah, it was a fun one. Whoopi and I, we still talk.
Love her. What have you ever spoken to Mark or Donnie about being officially, because the Baldwins made me an honorary Baldwin years ago.
You could definitely be You're Baldwinian.
Baldwinian.
Have you ever been photographed in the same room as Rob Pelinka?
We have to go deep now, right now. I was going to get to this. Yeah. So not only that, so Jeanie, who you obviously know
sure.
and love, Jeanie Buss, owner of Lakers.
Love.
A couple seasons ago, they always do an event for big benefactors and season ticket holders.
Yeah, we did it this year.
Okay, I did it 3 years ago, and it was all predicated on her coming out and saying, and later in the program tonight, Rob's going to come out and talk about the deals, and Rob's really excited about this thing, and then I come out.
Yeah.
And it was, the joke was completely lost on 90% of the people, but it was like the notion that they thought it was Palinka and it was me.
It's just, you guys look too much alike. Like if Will Ferrell came out, people are like, yeah. But people are like, oh, that's Rob Palinka. Hand me the mustard. That is so funny. Yeah, it is, because we were at that event a few weeks ago or whatever, and he was there, and I was there with Mindy Kaling, and we were talking to him, and he walks away, and she's like, "It's like, it looks exactly like Rob Lowe. They're like brothers."
We do. He looks more like my brother than my actual brother does.
Yeah. Yes. He kind of does. He does. Wow. It's wild.
It's nuts. I love the show. I love Running Point.
Thank you, my friend.
It's super great. I love Kate Hudson. She's just first of all, she's just one of my favorite people. So talented. How about her music career?
Dude, it's so funny, because she came on to do the show, signed on to do the show. We're talking to her and stuff and hanging out a little bit. And she's like, I'm doing music. You guys got to come and see this. She had a big show. And you never know with movie stars. You never know. And we got there, and it was packed show. And she came out, and can't remember if it was the first or second song, but she covered Voices Carry, which is one of my all times. And she's just incredible, man. She's so great, and it's shocking. Now it's not. I mean, it shouldn't be shocking because she's like, whatever, has very talented genes and whatnot. But she's just great. It's such a relief, because if it was bad, you'd have to be like, the show's great. Anyway, you know what I mean? She's amazing. She's
great, and Jeanie is such a great character, persona, icon. I've known the Buss family. I knew Dr. Buss really, really well. I would go up to Pick Fair and hang. I've got a lot of If These Walls Could Talk Pick Fair stories. Oh my God. And Jim Buss. I mean, it's like, when you know. You know what I mean?
If they would have kept doing the other Winning Time show, there would have been a Rob Lowe character in season 4 or something.
Played by John Stamos. No, they 100%. I mean, like, people go on and on about the Forum Club, and I go, but you know where the real shit was going down? The press lounge.
Oh my God.
Because the press lounge was where you actually had some, that's where Nicholson and I were like it was not pretty or really pretty.
No, it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
The 80s.
Man, I got to LA way too late. I got here in 2000, where it was just like
too late.
It's just too late. Yeah.
Too late.
Yeah.
Too late. The debauchery was over. Today's episode of Literally is sponsored by Lowe's. Lowe's knows that taking on more projects should be rewarding. That's why loyalty members get more every day with rewards for every home or business purchase. Plus, shop weekly member deals and get access to free standard shipping. So what are you waiting for? Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms, subject to change. So season 2, is it picked up?
It's picked up. They picked it up. Uncle Ted, we love you.
Uncle Ted, love him.
Love them. They picked it up, and we're working on it right now. It's definitely a lot easier season 2, I think, because the season 1, you're trying to figure it out and establish the characters. And is this person going to work or not? But season 2, it's just really exciting because you kind of know everyone, and we lucked out with this cast. We got Kate. The fact that we got her is wild. I just assumed that she would just be too busy or doing a movie or something, but she really loved the script. She loves Jeanie. Like you, she's known Jeanie since she was very young. And I think Jeanie Buss and Kate Hudson both are very evocative of Southern California and the ocean
Yes.
and the vibe. And so we were so excited to get her. But then we get like Justin Theroux to play her brother, and Drew Tarver and Scott MacArthur, and Jay Ellis is the coach, and Max Greenfield and Brenda Song. It's like this wild group. So it's really, really fun to write for those guys.
Does Thoreau write anymore?
He does.
Because he's so, I mean, dude, people forget that Justin Theroux wrote Tropic Thunder.
One of the all-time, it's
like
probably a top 5 comedy of all time.
Dude, he wrote it.
He wrote it.
And I think he wrote Zoolander.
I think he wrote Zoolander. He also, he told me that there's like a, back when remember when they used to make movies and they really put money into them, and they would be like, oh, okay, the movie's done. Here's another $1 million to shoot like DVD extras and commentary and all that stuff.
Yes.
They gave them a ton of money to shoot like a featurette for the Tropic Thunder DVD that was basically like a version of Hearts of Darkness, like a documentary about the movie. I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, Thoreau directed.
Oh, I see this.
It is, I think you can find it on the internet or maybe on YouTube. Yeah. It is so funny because it was just him dicking around on set and like grabbing, Robert Downey and being like, hey, come here, shoot this. Terrorize this family. Yeah, you might have seen it.
I've seen the Downey in the hotel room sequence. That's where that's
where
from.
He's like holding a gun to his head in front of his sons. He's like, I'm going to kill my... So good.
When I did a show called The Grinder, and I played
great show.
Oh, thanks, man.
I'm friends with those guys, with the writers.
Yeah, that's right, because you do Friends from College.
Wait, didn't Mogul and Paul write The Grinder?
They did, but also, what's his name?
Nick Stoller.
Nick Stoller. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Duh.
Stoller as well.
I'm not friends with him though. I don't like him.
Fuck him. Anyway, when I played The Grinder and I wanted to have certain cool wardrobe, my mood board was all Justin Theroux. All Justin Theroux. Nobody wears clothes like Justin Theroux. Nobody.
Like, his body type, if I wore the things that he's wearing.
Well, that's his competitive. It's true. He's a tiny little Mick Jagger of a man.
He's just incredibly ripped and sinewy, but strangely broad. It's wild. When I put that on, people get really upset. When I wear clothes like that, when I wear tight jeans, people are like, oh God, you can feel you can see his balls. It's gross. It's gross.
Yeah, he's got the anatomy to pull it off.
Yeah. I don't.
So what's season two roughly? What do you think? Can you tell me any hint?
Well, I think, the one thing I could say is we definitely ended season one with a lot of cliffhangers. Is she going to break up with Lev, played by Max Greenfield? Is she going to follow through on the kiss she made with Jay Ellis? And then at the very end, Thoreau's back. So we set up all these kind of threw a lot of balls in the air. So we'll see where those land. And the great thing about telling a story about a sports team is you really get to use the season and as a guide and touchdowns throughout the season. And I know you're a huge sports fan, and so for that we're really lucky to kind of have that as a structure. You're Dodgers first, right? That's your thing. Would you say?
I got to be full disclosure. It was always baseball was always my first love, but I grew up a Reds fan. So when I came to LA, I was ambivalent about the Dodgers, but Laker. And I was super lucky. I got the Lakers through not only Showtime, where I had season 4 seats, really, and then Kobe and Shaq.
Right.
And then they kind of went through their lull.
Right.
So I still love the Lakers, but the Dodgers have taken over. That I don't miss a game. I watch. I follow the stats. I mean, I'm still as Laker Nation, but the Dodgers right now.
It's a good vibe. It's a really good vibe at the Dodgers game. I'm a Cub fan. I'm from Chicago, but
Cubs are good.
Cubs are really good. We got
really good.
Pete Crow Armstrong.
I love him.
Dude,
by the way,
do you know his dad? Have you ever worked with his dad? His dad's,
I have. Yeah. I know his mom's an actress too, right?
Mom's an actor, dad's an actor. And now like, it's so crazy. I feel so old that like, oh yeah, that young guy from Heroes, his son is now like the best 5-tool player in like years. It's
so
wild.
Good.
You want to hear, you want to hear a crazy baseball stat I just heard?
Yeah.
Crazy stat. Ichiro Suzuki.
Mm-hmm.
His 10th at bat ever in the major leagues was a single. And that put him at 300 exactly. He had like roughly 10,500 more at bats in his career, and he never went below 300.
What? Well, that's insane. I'm going to steal that quote.
Yeah. Double check it, because if it's wrong, and delete this entire podcast, but I'm pretty sure I
no credibility.
That. Yeah, but that is amazing. I love him. He's amazing.
We got to talk the studio. Everybody's talking about it. It's one of those. I would love to get under the hood and see who's watching that show, because it's got to be everybody. Is it possible? I'm just going to say, and I'm not trying to be a dick. Is it possible that there are 5,000 people watching that show?
Anything's possible. I think it's more than 5,000. I will say this. I love when people in the business, people in New York and LA reach out and they're like, amazing. I love it. It's great. It's one for us. It's like, if you're
it's one for you.
If you're
Let me ask you this. Let me put you this way.
Yes.
Okay. So, look, because you've been around long enough. There's I was on a show called 911 Lone Star.
Sure.
I've never had one person, not one, ever, in Los Angeles mention it.
Right.
I go and play in the Jack Nicklaus Memorial Tournament, playing with Scotty Scheffler this year. Oh, nothing.
Wow.
And all the gallery is screaming, Captain Strand!
Yeah.
Captain the 126 forever!
Yeah.
Right? So there's that. And then when I did, and it's not dissimilar, the Grinder, everybody in LA, everybody in New York, and then my own father's never heard of that show. Is that that's I think what we're talking about here?
I get extra excited when people who I know who don't live in New York or LA, or people online who live randomly in other places love it. It's just that's exciting.
Yeah.
But it is, listen, it is a show that is, I think I think the same thing was true for like the Larry Sanders Show. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I remember living in Chicago, being like 15 or 16 and watching it and having no idea some of the things they were talking about, but being like, I want to do this. I want to be a writer in this room. You know what I mean?
That's
so
right. Yeah.
I think anytime you make something that's about the business, naturally it's going to be focused mostly on the coasts. And Chicago's a coast too. It has Lake Michigan.
Coast, Lake Michigan, 100%.
Yeah. But nothing hits more than like it's weird. It's weird. There's like a difference. There's a difference. But Running Point is a show that hits everywhere.
That hits both.
I don't know.
I mean, it's fun it's rare when you get both, but
Yes.
I can see that Running Point would make perfect sense. So in the studio, what is your single favorite, most inside baseball? I'm sure you put in stuff that's more than inside. It makes only 3 of you on the set laugh.
Yes.
You must have those, right?
Yeah.
When Fred Armisen and I were doing Unstable for Uncle Ted at Netflix.
Oh, yes.
And the conceit was he was staying in my basement because I had a good movie collection. But I was finally kicking him out. And as I kicked him out, I whispered in his ear, please promise me you'll watch. And the alts on what I wanted him to watch.
Right.
Were just as I was like,
give me a couple.
Please. August Osage County. See, that killed me too. And I promise you, no one in America laughed at that joke except maybe you, me, and Fred Armisen.
Tracy Letts is a genius. First of all, I think Fred Armisen, I think he might be the funniest person ever. I don't know. He's definitely like, if you told me Fred Armisen's the funniest man of all time, I would, I can't argue.
I think
with
it's, yeah, I agree.
And the studio, yeah, there's like,
give me your face. Hit me with some, baby.
All right. I'm trying to think of everyone who was on there.
There's a whole, the thing about parking spaces was pretty amazing. The runner about the politics of where you park on a studio lot was pretty great.
Oh, I think definitely, okay, here's one that's very inside baseball, just because I do hear a lot of executives say that, is in that episode, the director I'm trying to woo, Parker Finn, who's actually the director of the movie Smile and Smile 2. I'm trying to get him to remake his own movie for the studio. And he keeps showing up and Seth won't talk to him, or he shows up and I blow him off. And I'm like, listen, man, give me one more chance tomorrow. Come tomorrow. I'm bringing the Courage Bagels. And that is a line that I've had like a couple different executives be like, we got to get Courage Bagels next time. So that's one that like,
that's amazing.
It's so few people are going to hear. A lot of the stuff that David Krumholtz is saying to Seth, I feel like is super insidery. But listen, like if you're a cook at a cool little restaurant in South Carolina, you love The Bear. You know what I mean? You're watching The Bear, and that one for you. This one's for us. Yeah, one for you, one for us.
I love the like when Entourage was obsessed with remaking Aquaman. The Kool-Aid movie is by the way. Here's because what's great about it is, and I would love to again. Those are the things I go. I want to be in the writers' room and know the ones that didn't make it. Like,
oh yeah,
because the Kool-Aid one is so genius because it's so ridiculous. But it's also a great idea. Like I hate to say it, I would listen. The Lego movie's great. I'm down for a Kool-Aid movie. Oh yeah, I'm in.
The fictional slate that the Continental has is so funny because like I kept trying to wonder which movie would actually get made first, and I did think like if Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, like I could see them calling me and being like, hey, we're making this movie called The Apocalypse. It's about a bunch of zombies that shoot diarrhea. Johnny Knoxville's in it. Do you want to come and play? I would be like, yeah, that's totally a normal thing that's happening.
I'd be like, you had me at diarrhea.
You had me at diarrhea. You had me at diarrhea and Johnny Knoxville. But it was like, and watching those scenes, like the episode with the Wonder with Sarah Polley, like the kind of pretentious art house movie she's directing with Greta Lee. Like we're shooting the show, we're being funny, but then you watch and like, oh, they're making an actual like movie here. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy what those boys did.
I can't believe the amount of night shoots. I would be like Ricky Gervais. Like Ricky Gervais, we did a film together and Ricky co-directed it. And the first thing Ricky does whenever he gets a script is cuts the night shoots. Doesn't care. I'm not doing them. I'm like, I'm not doing those night shoots. And there's the whole thing takes place at night. I'm like, man, Seth, good for you, brah.
Yeah.
You haven't lost any of your edge.
There was a couple late nights. My friend did a movie one time with Danny Glover, and it was all nights. It was all nighttime exterior. And like the first day, like they're in the makeup chair, and Danny Glover's like, nights is when it really happens. Nights is when you get to be an actor. When you get to actually do the shit because the vulnerability's down. It's about nighttime. And that night at like 8:15, he's sitting in his director's chair just, and they're like, Danny's like, what? Oh, sorry.
I love Danny Glover. I worked with him as well. And that man.
One of the greatest.
He literally, first of all, we were doing a scene that was one of those eating scenes, like a family eating thing. He ate every piece of prop food. By the way, the guy is ripped. And he ate everything that wasn't nailed down. And then he came up to me and goes, the corn dog's over at Crafty. Do you know the great, I think it's Bobby Lee has this bit. I'm going to butcher this. Well, here's the thing. As long as I don't take credit for the story, I'm good. And I'm not taking credit.
I'll tell you this. You'll definitely tell it better than Bobby did. So go ahead.
My man.
I love him. I love him so much.
I don't know if it's but someone tells the story of them seeing, fuck, who is this? God damn it. But anyway, but it's Danny going up to Morgan Freeman and saying, oh, this is in the mid-90s, going, oh, that's the shrimp reduction. And he called the Shawshank Redemption the shrimp reduction.
You got like nervous or something?
Shrimp reduction.
The shrimp reduction is one of the best movies of all time, though, to be fair.
It is. It's a perfect movie.
It is. It also sounds like a recipe at a restaurant in New Orleans. It's a shrimp reduction. It's a Bubba Gump shrimp.
I want Bubba Gump's shrimp reduction. So amazing. Okay, what else we got? We got all kinds of shit. We got all kinds of shit,
man.
So what's you have these two shows at once. How do you work that out? I mean that's the great thing about Netflix is they give you they're like, hey, do it when you want to do. Like they don't, you're not on any real schedule. But
right.
That said, how do you run your life?
Luckily we had a long lead time of writing season 1 of Running Point, and then we got about 6 weeks of shooting done before the studio started filming. So there was some days where there was overlap, and I would be kind of shuttling back and forth between Warner Brothers and LA Center Studios where we shoot Running Point. And
I thought you shot all these in Budapest.
Yeah, well, we do the exteriors in Budapest because the show takes place in Budapest. It's a Budapest and LA. If you know, you know.
That tax credit. I mean,
hey,
chicken Kiev, you get.
Real quick, if I could just thank Viktor Orban for all of his hospitality with my cast and crew, and
that's why I love you. That you're one of the few actors that would throw me a Viktor Orban reference. Peace out to
Bobby
you, bro.
Lee would definitely know who Viktor Orban is. What was I saying? Oh yeah. Anyway, so that, and I think the most important thing, and you know how important this is to have great partners. Mindy and the showrunner of Running Point is Dave Stassen, who's been like my best friend for like 40 years. And so having them and having Seth and Evan, also guys I've known for a long time, just being helpful and patient and being respectful of your time. It's always the balance of when you're shooting, when you're really, really, really busy. How do you make time for family? And that is why I rent out my family when I'm in production.
That's why you're alone.
I do. I have a business. If you're kind of someone who doesn't have a family, you're family curious, I offer you can rent mine out for as long as my production is lasting. So that I don't have to worry about because someone else is kind of watching over them.
Yeah, it's another passive income stream.
Yeah, it's just always be making money is kind of my acting motto.
Even when you're not, always be closing, always be making money.
Always be closing, always be making money. Coffee's for closers. Drink coffee if you want to close. Drink coffee, or if you want to drink coffee, close.
It's funny. I obviously we're referencing the great Alec Baldwin in Glengarry Glen Ross, which is now a play right now. Which I think, how many people a night do you think go to that play and don't see that scene because that scene's not in the play?
Not in the play. Not as written for the movie. People are mad.
I'm willing to bet that half of the audience, at least, is waiting for that.
Yes.
Maybe I remember it at the beginning, but maybe I'm misremembering it. Maybe it must be after the intermission. It must be after that. And then the curtain comes down. They're like, where the fuck? What happened?
When I went to the bathroom, did they do the monologue? I was just in New York with my family, and it was my daughter's birthday. And so she wanted to go see a show, and it's so funny. We're walking down Broadway, we're seeing like Glengarry Glen Ross, and Portrait of Dorian Gray and Macbeth and Good Night and Good Luck and just all these amazing plays. And we just went to go see Aladdin. Because it was her 7th birthday.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. But by the way, the Aladdin was great. Princess Jasmine was fantastic, and the genie was funny.
I saw Portrait of Dorian Gray. Insane.
Oh wow, yeah, I heard it's wild.
Sarah Snook plays 27 parts. 27 parts.
She really she clumped it up.
She it's very Tyler Perry.
It's Tyler Perry. It's Eddie Murphy.
Murphy.
I'm here for this. I'm here for Meet the Clumps, more Meet the Clump style Broadway shows.
Yeah, and how they do it is it's unbelievable. It's right across the street from The Outsiders, which I still haven't seen, but I want to go see.
Oh wow!
And that's a whole
other
generation. That was the first
time I saw you. They showed The Outsiders on TV one day. I was a kid. But I remember watching that movie, and then I remember all the girls loving you.
Come on now.
And they loved you, and they loved Patrick Swayze very much.
Swayze,
the girls,
throwing it down for the Sways.
They love the Sways.
What about when I came out of the shower and that little towel drop? Did that give you did it feel funny down below for you at all?
It was, I was young, but maybe it made me question kind of my identity.
Good.
But I figured it out.
I was just trying to pull focus. Are you watching any of Tom Cruise's press tour for Mission Impossible? Are you following any of this?
I've seen snippets here and there. I already have my tickets for opening weekend. I'm obsessed with those movies. I am obsessed with those movies. And I got, 2 summers ago, I just said to my kids, hey, we're going to watch this movie. I made them watch Mission Impossible 1, and they've seen all of them except for 2 and 3, and they love Tom Cruise. They love Ethan Hunt. They're all in, and we're all going to go next weekend. What's the press for? What's the vibe? What's his vibe right now?
By the way, I cannot wait. I am such a huge Tom fan on every. I mean, in these movies, I think they blow James Bond out of the water. Right?
I'm a big Bond fan. I thought the last Bond was great. I love Jason Bourne. Yep. But the Mission Impossible movies are just they're so rewatchable and they're great.
So here's my pit. So and I called Fred. I called Fred Armisen and I said, "Are you doing the new season of Documentary Now yet?" And he goes, "No." And I go, "Here's my pitch," because I just seen their umpteen behind the scenes things of Tom talking about. So I basically. There's a thing where he's talking about being underwater. He's like, we're underwater, and it's really hard to be underwater, and we had to have a way to communicate because we're underwater. And he keeps talking about being underwater, and while it clearly shows him underwater,
sure.
And so I was like, this needs to be Documentary Now. I want to play like
a behind the scenes,
the scenes, and I'm playing like a gnarly, like maybe lost the plot. Over like super earnest, like earnest beyond the level of earnest.
Yeah.
Intense. And talking about underwater. What's hard is you don't use your lungs in the way that you would normally use your lungs. A whole new way of breathing needs to be.
Because it's a compound of hydrogen and oxygen. It's different. There's 2 parts hydrogen and 1 part oxygen. I did see a clip of him like at Video Village with Christopher McQuarrie and all the crew, and he's just in like a little like briefs, and he looks amazing. Like it's crazy. And I was like, he's got to be so. I'm just so happy for him. You know what I mean? I don't know the guy at all, but I'm just like, oh my God, he still gets to do these movies for 30 years. He's in his little underwear on set. He's jacked. Everyone's like staring at him, and he's so happy.
And he like does some insane stunt and then goes, "Thanks everybody," and shakes every person's hand like they're in a rope line, and then gets on a Bell Sikorsky.
Yes.
And flies off the set to a castle.
Yes. Yeah. And then he makes his list of coconut cakes.
Cakes.
Mindy Kaling got one. she gets them because I guess she knows Tom. And one year she brought it over and she's like, I can't, she had like a bite of it. And I ate like the entire cake. It's like the best coconut cake I've ever had.
I mean, the man knows how to live.
He knows how to live, dude. Listen, he's the man. I love him. I love TC.
What are you doing for the summer?
I'm working. We are gonna go away. We're gonna go to Amsterdam with the family.
Oh yeah, ask me, how did you end up in Amsterdam forming your comedy troupe in Amsterdam? Because the way I see it, was it in Amsterdam? It took you going to Amsterdam to meet everybody and form a troupe?
No, a little bit in a way. So I go to Boston University for 1 year. Doesn't work out. I hate it. They don't like me. I go back home to Chicago, and I know I want to act a little bit. I don't know how to apply it. I don't know what sector I want to act in, but I go and I see the Improv Olympics, like 10th anniversary show. And I'd never seen like improv like that before. And looking back, it was like Poehler and Adam McKay and Tim Meadows specifically was so funny that I was like, okay, so I want to do this. And this was a big time, like the mid to late 90s, New York with the UCB and Chicago with Improv Olympic and the Annoyance Second City. Yeah. A lot of just really funny people around. A lot of cool things were happening. So I was there for a few years. And I had heard about this theater that these three American bros founded in Amsterdam. And I knew that this guy, Seth Meyers, had just left our theater to go do it. And my roommate auditioned and I auditioned. And when I went out there, I was like 21 or 22. I'd never been to Europe before. And it's a real theater. It's a theater with hundreds of seats. And they do like a Second City style comedy show. And so I went there, and the kind of group we were there with, you know, it was just our friends for many years. But, you know, now it was like, Jason Sudeikis and Brendan Hunt and Joe Kelly, the Ted Lasso boys, and Jordan Peele and Seth and Kay Cannon, who directed me in Blockers, and Liz Kukowski and Amber Ruffin and Josh and Seth Meyers. All these people were there. So that the comedy and the work, in addition to the insane amount of fun that I had, just like being a 2-year-old kid from Chicago living in Amsterdam in like the 90s still, it was like, oh my God, it was the closest I'll get to like your life in the 80s. But it was really, really, really fun. And we all kept in touch. And then now years later, we all still work together and talk. And it's a nice little community. So we're going to go there with the family for a little vacay.
That sounds amazing.
It sounds amazing, but it's a little weird because it is like you're bringing your children to like
Amsterdam. Tim Meadows had a character on SNL that was one of my all-time favorite reoccurring sketches, where he hosted an early access.
Oh yeah.
What, dude?
What was that?
Dude, you're watching. It's 4:45 in the morning. Like, the joke was that nobody would put that show on. And he was, what the fuck was the name? That is my favorite Tim Meadows character ever.
Tim Meadows is an all-timer. Do you ever watch Tim Robinson? I Think You Should Leave. Have you ever watched any of that?
Oh yeah.
He's in an I Think You Should Leave sketch, which is like one of the funniest sketches on that whole show, where it's like his daughter's getting married and there's a photographer and he's like, all right, I got a table full of props. Everyone grab a prop for a fun photo. Come on, hurry. 3, 2, 1. And Tim tries to grab glasses and someone grabs him, and all that's left is a big purple feather. And he goes, okay, 1, 2, 3. And Tim Meadows panics and just shoves the feather down his throat and just starts vomiting. He's a legend, man. He's a legend.
Absolute legend.
Yeah.
Well, dude, this is great. Thanks. This is so fun to catch up with you, man. I love it.
Dude. I hear the show, and you're just I loved watching your show too with your son. The Ugly Guys should be the name of that show. 2 ugly dudes.
I like that.
Boom.
One man in need of a facelift, another 30 years away from it. How about that?
If you play a version of Tom Cruise in a documentary now, I would like to play the Macquarie.
Totally.
Like, yeah, I'll play like the director who you're like telling me something crazy. Like, I'm going to go underwater. I'm going to hold my breath for 14 minutes. And I'm like, okay.
This is the thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. Let's talk to Fred.
LA Tech Avail.
I just used that word today too. No. It was, I wanted to talk to somebody and I realized that they had, God forbid, they were no longer living. And I said, they're technically unavailable.
He's LA, Forest Lawn, Tech Unavail.
Tech Unavail. Won't do network.
He's dead, but he would love to be on a Netflix show.
That's right. Streaming only. Tech unavailable. Forest Lawn. See, these were the pitches on the studio. This is basically like
that's
what it is. You're just like fucking hitting up the writers.
Yeah, and that's why this podcast will only be listened to in LA and New York. That's a joke. Right. Everyone across the country better listen to this goddamn thing.
And everybody's going to be watching the studio, and everybody's going to be watching Running Point. And when Poehler makes an appearance, we got to,
Oh my God, we got to get you on there, man.
Should we Poehler this up?
we got to Poehler this bitch up, dude.
I think we might. We've never really, we've sort of test run it and people like it, but we've never really rolled out the Poehler.
We got to really go full Poehler on this one. Never go full Poehler.
He went full Poehler. Never go full Poehler.
Never go full
Poehler. I think Poehler, he could do some stuff.
I think so. I kind of like this.
Season 2, I'm around. You know where to find me.
We know where to find you. You'll be this is your home, right? The studio is where you live.
This is it. I got an air mattress right over there, and that's as good as it gets for me. That's my life. All right, brother. You're the best. You're the best. This is really fun.
Really fun talking to you.
I hope I see you on campus, as they say.
Ooh, I'm taking that, Rob Lowe. I'm taking that line.
Isn't that a good one?
See you on campus. Yeah, I'm taking that one.
I think Hanks hit me up with that one years ago. Doesn't that sound very Hanksian?
Oh yeah, I'm loving that. See you on campus.
So good. Yeah, see you on campus.
You're the best, man.
Thanks, man. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Literally, sponsored by Lowe's.